Stand on the pavement of one of North America's densest cities, take a dozen steps, and find yourself completely swallowed by an ancient forest forge. Toronto contains the largest urban ravine system in the world. These twisting corridors cover 17% of the city's land area, running parallel to major multi-lane highways and sprawling concrete neighborhoods. These massive valleys were not dug by human engineering. 12,000 years ago, retreating glaciers released torrents of meltwater that carved deep, permanent channels through the soil, routing directly down to Lake Ontario. These steep slopes, once deemed useless for development, now function as a continuous subterranean pharmacy, built on a 12,000-year-old foundation of glacial silt. To see how this ecosystem survives in the shadow of skyscrapers, we look underground. Beneath the dead leaves, the soil pulses with microscopic life. 90% of ravine plants rely on an underground fungal network called mycorrhizae. Fungal hyphae spread through the dirt, fusing with forest roots to extract deep water and minerals. In exchange, plants pump photosynthetic sugars back down into the fungal web. Without this hidden distribution network ferrying nutrients across the dark, light-starved forest floor, the complex plant life above ground would simply starve. This subterranean life support kicks into overdrive in early spring. As the snow melts, sunlight reaches the forest floor for a very brief window before the massive oak and maple trees grow their summer leaves and cast everything into shade. A specialized group of plants known as spring ephemerals exploit this sunlight. They erupt from the thawing frost, bloom, and spread their seeds rapidly, completing their entire reproductive cycle before the canopy closes over them. One of the most successful of these is wild ginger. It thrives in the ravine's limestone substrate by keeping its root system incredibly shallow, allowing it to wake up and grow faster than plants waiting for deeper soils to thaw. To survive the harsh environment, wild ginger attaches small, fat-rich structures called eliosomes to its seeds. Forest ants seek out these high-calorie snacks, carrying the seeds safely into their nutrient-rich underground nests, planting them in the process. The forest understory thrives through these hyper-fast mutualistic alliances. Survival here requires precise timing and cooperation. Millennia before Toronto existed, indigenous peoples, including the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Métis, closely observed these biological cycles and mapped the chemical properties of the ravine plants. Wild ginger proved especially potent due to its powerful antibacterial properties. Its harvested roots were used as expectorants for lung ailments, treatments for severe fevers, and poultices for open wounds. We can see the extent of this knowledge in historical plant use documents like this table, where specific species and their precise medical applications have been carefully recorded across generations. Traditional teachings view these plants as entities with spiritual and physical agency. In this worldview, the forest actively protects those who maintain a respectful relationship with the land. True understanding of this pharmacy requires acknowledging this relationship. The forest and its human inhabitants acted as mutual partners in survival for thousands of years. That balance fractured in the 19th century. European settlers arrived with a different philosophy of land management, rapidly and systematically clearing the old-growth forest canopies to create open agricultural fields. By removing the trees, they stripped away the land's protective outer layer. Without the deep roots to hold the soil, or the canopy to break the harsh wind and rain, the earth was left entirely exposed to the elements. This disruption culminated in an environmental crisis in the 1930s. Without the forest to regulate moisture, the region suffered a devastating cycle of severe flooding, followed by suffocating droughts and massive dust storms, eventually forcing the local government to establish formal conservation authorities. Severing the microscopic fungal networks and destroying the surface canopy predictably and violently destabilized the entire region's macroclimate. Today, urban planners and scientists recognize the intact ravines as critical city infrastructure. This cross-section diagram illustrates how the dense vegetation acts as a massive biological sponge. The canopy breaks the velocity of heavy rainstorms, allowing water to be slowly absorbed by the deep soil below. As runoff seeps downward, root structures and fungal webs physically filter out urban pollutants, cleansing the water before it washes into Lake Ontario. During modern extreme weather events, this absorption capacity drastically reduces the volume of floodwaters, mitigating downstream damage to concrete roads and power grids that would otherwise be overwhelmed. A moment of wonder. A single raindrop hitting a wild ginger leaf is caught by the ancient fungal web, preventing a flood miles away. The ravine pharmacy is a functional component of city survival. Maintaining these chemical and biological networks ensures the landscape remains hospitable, providing the exact same essential protection today that it offered millennia ago.